on my computer. I can't log in from on my phone. Hello. An intimate meeting today. All the old hats are here. So we're gonna get started. Before we get started, we have a thought of the day.
That's me.
That's Shar, and she's gonna come up and tell us, enlighten us with her thought of the day.
The thought of the day is your body is your client. And I'm not going to explain what it means to me, but I would like you to think about what does that mean to you? Forget it.
That's good. Very, very good.
Your body, your silence. Think about that, guys.
You're the employer, guys.
For customer service.
Maybe, I don't know. Are you?
How do you take care of your client?
Don't have that.
You abuse them.
Not very well. Feed them donuts.
Depends on who you ask.
Grateful.
Depends on who you ask. Quick jokes. I have a couple short ones for you. These are actual court transcripts. The judge turns to the woman and says, "What's the reason for divorce? What did your husband exactly tell you in the morning when he got up that is caused you to file this divorce?" She said, "What time is it, Kathy?" "Well, what's the problem with that? Because my name is Susan."
Gosh.
The other one is from a traffic accident. The judge says, "What gear were you in at the time of the accident?" This must have been a blonde. She said, "I was in Gucci and Prada." All right. Today we have our Toastmaster. Stan. He's giving his icebreaker. Everybody help me welcome Stas. He's going to lead our meeting today. Ice-breaking Toastmaster.
Okay. I was gonna say.
That was my song.
Don't feel like doing it again.
I volunteered to be Toastmaster because I like to volunteer. I don't have any, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And it actually is responsibility, and I need to do things and prepare, which I didn't do very well. But when I hear the word toast, it brings up memory from my place of childhood, Eastern Europe. When people do toast, they drink something usually with that, right? So I thought it's going to be a fun job, Toastmaster, and it is fun. So my icebreaker is, even though we don't have vodka here, we're not gonna fill ourselves with alcohol. We don't have to do that, because to be able to be together and spend quality time and express ourselves and tell each other stories from our life is already, for me at least, it's a heartwarming experience. And it's the same like drinking vodka. We don't need to intoxicate ourselves to open up and share things like people have to do sometimes. So that's my icebreaker. Even though if we could, it could also be a good option. So the next, I have to go through the agenda and think.
The rules.
The rules.
The role.
The rules.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to do. Yeah, the roles, not the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we have 3 roles, as I understand. Yeah, the counter, we each share the counter today or no? No, wait, you were
The
the,
grammarian and the. content.
we maybe another counter,
Yeah.
oh.
Our,
so
our,
fair.
our counter,
I'm the.
The-
Our counter.
our counter, yeah.
And Primaria. Okay, so Ebony is going to do both.
So you ask her, what are your roles?
Yeah, so what, do you know that, do you understand the roles?
I do, right. The grammarian, okay. I have the grammarian and the word of the day also, right? So that's separate thing.
No, that's the same.
Okay, same, right?
Yeah.
The grammarian prepares the word of the day and counts any filler words that. So then he repeats any filler words. And then lets people, I think, count each person who speaks, and then I let you know a report at the end of the day. Yeah.
And what is the word?
Oh, I say that now too.
Yes.
Okay. So my word, I thought I was gonna stand up and say, okay, I'll do it.
Mhm.
The word is precipice. I was talking to a friend about hiking precipice.
Precipice.
I was gonna read it, make it even easier for myself. The geological, actual, literal definition of a steep, sheer, or overhanging rock face, such as the edge of a deep cliff. And I was telling a friend that when hiking, I avoid precipices, but more importantly, metaphorically,
Yeah.
when you use it, it refers to any dangerous or precarious situation where someone or something is on the brink of a disaster or ruin or change. So I think that's how we use it more than when we are, hiking. So the word of the day is precipice.
So it's on the edge of a,
Yeah,
Cliff.
edge of a change, edge of a cliff. Yes.
yeah,
The brink of change, cliff danger.
I think it's gonna be interesting to read about that. And now we go to the first speaker or the.
And then we have to, there's the third one. Yeah, what's that? Oh, yes. That's not.
And there's also
Who is
a humor.
Who's in time?
I already,
Yes, timer today is, I think it's to be continued in the list. So. some of-
you can, yeah,
okay.
because I don't have my computer in front of me.
Timer. And that's it, right? This-
That's it. So timer, yes.
Now we're going to the speaker.
Now we,
How long are your speeches today?
7 to 9.
7 to 9, okay,
5 to 7.
all right, so yeah, if the speech goes over, we don't stop or interrupt anything like this. it's just-
no, the timer, there's probably a music will play and, yeah.
Okay, so the first speaker is James, and he's going to talk today about his plan to leave his comfortable job in private equity to become a wedding speaker,
Wow.
starting with his own brother's wedding that is coming up next month, which he wants to practice on us because.
So that might be on the precipice of some sarcasm.
Hey,
Okay.
Thank you, Stas.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I'm James, and it's my honor to be the best man for this joyous occasion celebrating Christina and Brian. I'm Brian's younger brother and his only brother, and I must admit I'm incredibly unqualified for the role and only got the job through nepotism. So please pretend my jokes are funny and don't report my hiring to human resources. Brian's first true love was video games, and the game that stands out most is called Zelda and the Ocarina of Time. This was a tale of a young boy named Link, who realizes his destiny by saving Princess Zelda and her kingdom from the Dark Lord Ganondorf. This was a sign that Brian would carry with him, a thing for women who were older than him and out of his league, but would one day save Christina from West Hollywood landlords and their overpriced rent. Brian's other true love was books, and he was a gifted and precocious reader. An 8-year-old Brian read through Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone so quickly, legend has it, a spell was cast and he morphed into a Harry Potter doppelganger overnight. The comparisons would stay with him until he lost the glasses in high school. At this point, his intellectual horsepower is repurposed from fantasy tales to speeding through schoolwork as quickly as possible so he can focus on the things that mattered most. His social life and endlessly annoying arm leather. It also led him to breaking 2000 on the SAT with limited preparation. I learned a lot of things over the years from having Brian as an older brother, and from the ages of 12 to 16, it was a clinic in what absolutely not to do. The perfect microcosm of this was a 2-week period in which Brian and a few friends, I'm looking at you, Derek Panics and Andrew Schmidt, played a series of pranks on our neighbors, the Moores, who had a daughter in their class. This included prank ordering 12 extra large pepperoni pizzas from the local Papa John's, heaving a baking soda concoction which formed a large white blob that stuck to the side of their house. Hope they all got A's in chemistry. And last but not least, my personal favorite, a fake taxi cab order for their 9-year-old son Jackson Moore from Hermosa Beach all the way to the Burbank airport. Rumor has it, John Moore is still trying to collect reimbursement for 2 years of blood pressure medications. To say Brian and I have different personalities would be the understatement of the century. The brotherhood pairing of robotic mathlete with off-the-wall creative who is charisma and ADHD personified would be a promising setup for your next favorite sitcom. The differences between us could be challenging in our younger lives, but over time, Brian and I learned to appreciate them. Here are 3 things I admire about my older brother, Brian. First is his sense of humor. Malcolm Gladwell's best-selling book, Outliers, theorizes it takes 20,000 hours of dedicated practice to achieve human mastery. It should be no surprise Brian's funny, because he spent over 20,000 hours of his youth watching Comedy Central reruns in my parents' basement. With his combination of quick wit, native intelligence, and willingness to push boundaries, Brian has the ability to bring levity and chuckles to any setting. Next is his ability to make new friends. Brian understood at an earlier age than most that life isn't a destination, but a journey shaped by the company that we keep and the friends we make along the way. This has been a constant throughout his life, and this whole weekend is a testament to that. Nowhere were his social skills on better display than our annual cruise ship vacations, in which Brian would effortlessly make friends from around the world and become the ringleader of mischief in the teen center. For Christina's family's sake, I'll claim he's in bed every night by 8 o'clock sharp and never, ever, ever used a fake ID to gamble on blackjack in the casino. And finally, what I admire most about Brian is his courage to be his authentic self. The American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." Whether it be every time he voiced a contrarian viewpoint, dared to bring up the energy and volume in a quiet room, or sported an outfit that left our mother with a sigh of disbelief, Brian has always shown a willingness and a courage to stay true to himself. From Brian, I've learned with humor, you can treat the whole world as a friend. Don't be afraid to take the road less traveled by. And with love, water can develop the thickness of blood. From the moment I met Christina, I was struck by how picture perfect of a match she was for Brian. They're like 2 halves of the same whole. She was kind and patient, which you could tell from her rescue puppy Riley, had a similar fun and eclectic style, a shared love of furnishings and interior design, and most important, she found Brian to be amusing. If I've learned anything from my parents' marriage, it's to find the one who'll laugh at your jokes, regardless of their quality. It's been great to have Christina at family events throughout the years, from regular Sunday night dinners to exploring abandoned Icelandic villages. She's felt like a member of the family for me for a while, giving great advice on everything from fashion to home decor. I would also ask her for dating advice, but I'll have my relatives who are constantly curious about my relationship status know. I'm getting stellar advice these days from ChatGPT and fortune cookies. Anyways, I know my mother's looking forward to formally improving the female ratio in the Breen household, and we're thrilled to welcome Christina. It takes a village to get two people to this point in their lives. So I just want to thank my parents, Greg and Cindy, for everything and more they invested in Brian over the years, and all friends and family who played a part along the way. And I also want to thank Christina's family and friends for helping her become the woman we're thrilled to see by my brother's side. I took 30 minutes away from binge watching YouTubes to write this speech, so I want to end by asking you both for a couple things in return. Brian, please never forget to acknowledge just your blessing it is to have Christina in your life. Make it your mission every day to keep putting a smile on her face and to bring her the best possible version of you. And Christina, this one's a bigger ask, so please strap in your seatbelt and brace for landing. Please remember to monitor Brian's screen time on Reddit. Big love to you both, and can't wait to see what this next chapter holds. Please join me in raising a glass to the newlyweds, Christina and Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, James. I felt like I was in a wedding myself, so good. I think they're definitely gonna be impressed. And they're not gonna get divorced because they ain't gonna get it again, right? This one. So we do an evaluation now, right? So let's start from what place? This one. Yes, just because
Okay.
it's easier to remember. Casey, let's start from you.
Okay, hi. Wow, you did all that. You did all that in 7 minutes and 38 seconds. It was really well polished. I could tell you put a lot of thought and heart into writing it. Now I think your biggest challenge is now that you have it memorized, is kind of shaking it off a little bit and making it your own in the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's really well written and you have it in your brain. So just kind of like making it your own in the moment and seeing like where the laughs, you get more laughs and then you can like ad lib a little bit, or like add on to something if you feel comfortable doing that. But
Sure.
just really getting more comfortable with it. And I think you're gonna nail it. When is the wedding?
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got this.
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, Ebony.
Yeah, sure, no, that was completely, I was thinking that too, it's just, there's a naturalness that's lacking that will come with continuing to go through and adding ad-libbing, that will make it more like relatable. I didn't know speaking of relatable, I didn't know the video game, but I'm sure the audience will.
Yeah, he's like
yeah.
also a very quirky personality.
So they'll
You
get
can
the
tell that
joke.
there's-
Yeah, they'll get those
some
jokes.
text in there.
I'm sure they'll understand. But I also was thinking, I didn't understand why you walked from side to side. I feel like that could be either you're walking and talking, or it can be part of or the real reason for it might be more helpful. I just thought, I think it was a little bit unnatural seeming.
Okay.
And also, I think Malcolm Gladwell said 10,000 hours, not 20,000. I believe.
Oh, yeah, the joke was,
Oh.
Malcolm says 10,000.
Okay, I heard 20,000. Okay, I just heard 20,000 there. Okay,
Yeah, you're right, though.
okay. And I really like the 3 things I admire. I think that's a nice structure that helps, pull us in. So like, what's gonna happen? What are you gonna say? So I like that. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
so that was my thought.
Thanks, Ebony. Yeah, Karen, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I thought it was a great speech. I love the humor, I love the pacing. You've put a lot of thought into it. I just made a couple of notes where you referenced the past when you talked about, he was something versus he is, because whatever,
Good call. Yeah,
there was at the beginning, there was a couple of past tenses that I thought could be present tense.
Good now, thank you.
But other than that, yeah, great job. And I'm wondering why you walked off the screen. I mean, I brought you back in, but I don't know why you did that.
Yeah, I think sometimes the advice on navigating the stage can be a little bit conflicting.
Okay.
Sometimes it's work the room, sometimes it's stay in the Zoom. Sometimes it's move, or yeah, I'll get that. It's all helpful. Sometimes it can.
I just weigh in there too. I was wondering the first time you moved, like, why did you move? But then the second time you moved, I felt like it was more intentional. Because you were talking about your brother here, and then you moved over here and talked about your Christina,
Yeah.
so you're like
Yeah.
separating, like addressing one person, which I thought made sense
Yeah.
to me.
Like, was
That's how, yeah, maybe
That makes sense.
it was just the logical groupings of
Yeah.
like dividing it into thirds, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's helpful. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Claire. What do you think?
James, really great speech. I thought it was very funny and engaging. I mean, we all found it funny. We don't even know these people, so I'm assuming anyone who knows Christina and Brian will be watching more. So I'm sure you'll have a good audience. And you were good. It was good pacing, I think, especially when something's funny, you want to make sure that the beat lands. So I thought you were good about not talking too fast, being pauses between your points. And it was also clear that you love and admire him. It wasn't just. I remember last year. Yeah, I remember I went to one of my friend's weddings and her mom gave a speech that was kind of mean. We have a very close relationship, but I was like, that was low key or roast. But anyway, it was still a very kind speech. And to reiterate what people were saying, I think you should go back and watch the video. That will just help you see, because I could tell you we're trying to incorporate intentional gestures, but yeah, just having it be a little bit more natural. And I think it'll be more clear what you need to do or how to walk around the room, when to walk around the room, if you just watch yourself back, which I hate doing. I hate watching myself in the video, but it does help. But yeah, I think just getting it a little more flowing and natural, but yeah, pacing and eye contact were great, and I thought the content was great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Claire.
I thought it was funny. I loved laughing, a lot of it, which I was happy for you that you had that. When you walked over there, I thought that was the end. I said, where's that it? You know, anyway, that was so, like, look at that. People.
Yeah, that's fair. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
This is just something I'd like you to think about.
Sure.
Is to add like a really poignant moment about your brother. I don't know why I think of like when he saved a kitten or something, you know, I don't know, something a little poignant. Because it sounds a little bit like brothers are still. Anyway, that's the only thing I would suggest.
Yeah.
If you can think
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
helpful.
Like a flattering, heartwarming story.
Yeah.
Where everybody's like, oh, this is nice stuff.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing, would Zelda and who?
Zelda in the Ocarina of Time was like a
Yeah,
video
like
game.
the suitor, what did you say his name was?
Ganondorf.
No.
Oh.
Link or Wink, which one did you say?
Oh, Link.
Oh, I thought you said Link in it, and it's Link.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You also mentioned 2000 SAT.
Yeah.
Maybe tell people what the regular people do at the SAT and how good 2000 is in comparison. Right?
I think, yeah, fair enough. I think average is like 1400 or something like that.
So you can make that and make a joke about it, right? So it's just,
Yes,
so to
many people, I went off thinking like, what, okay, I'm trying to remember what I got, and you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was out at 1600 not too long ago. Yeah, it's good
Right,
to be
guys.
active.
For the sake of
Thanks
time,
so
how
much,
we move
guys.
forward, I guess I
Yeah.
think it might be good to go to a bit of time. So is the next in our agenda?
Yeah.
Claire is going to be our next speaker,
Mhm.
and she's going to, she likes to speak in a non-violent way, and today she's going to have a talk about communication skills.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Stas. I do like to communicate non-violently. I don't condone violence. Who here has felt upset with someone, but not known how to say it, And so you didn't say anything at all. Show of hands.
Really, guys? Really?
Never?
Okay.
Nobody's like, I don't have it. B, you were upset about something, and so you brought it up, and it didn't go well. It turned into a fight, or was on the precipice of a fight. So often, when we have conflict, it's not a matter of bad intentions. It's ego, misunderstanding, assumptions, poor communication. Every week, I see about 20 therapy clients, and I hear the same thing over and over. I feel frustrated with this experience, but I don't know how to express it. Either I'm too scared to express it because I don't want to come off as mean and aggressive, or I tried to express it and it really didn't go well. It blew up and it turned into this big fight, and now my mom's mad at me. We're not talking. Something I love to do in my therapy room is help people find their voice. I really appreciate that here at Toastmasters, we get to find our voice. But it's easy for me to find my voice when I'm just standing up here monologuing at y'all. It's a little bit harder when I'm upset with someone, whether it be a coworker, a family member, a partner, or a friend. It can be really hard to express our difficult feelings. Today, I'd like to talk to you guys about nonviolent communication. This is a process I share with a lot of my clients. When I first learned about it during my grad school internship, I thought it sounded a little bit cheesy and annoying. But as I've practiced it myself in the last few years, I found it's really helpful for communicating with people in my personal life, showing clients how to communicate with people in their lives, and just understanding my own thoughts. It's a framework for understanding why we're upset and making requests that resolve that unmet need. To give a little background, nonviolent communication was invented in the 1960s by a psychologist named Marshall Rosenberg. He has a great book on it if anyone's interested. The idea behind this framework is simple. Every human has fundamental needs for autonomy, connection, belonging, safety, and understanding. When those needs are met, we thrive. When those needs are not met, we experience conflict and suffering. Today, I'm going to teach you a 4-step process for nonviolent communication, or NVC, is a little bit easier to say. This 4-step process is observation, feelings, needs, and requests. So to start with observations, this is, you're making a face. No, I was worried something was wrong. Okay, so observations. This is the objective things you observe with your 5 senses. What are you seeing, hearing, smelling, touching? Probably not going to use that one as much, but it's just the objective facts that you're noticing. When you're talking about observations, I encourage you not to put any assumptions there. So rather than, you're ignoring me, you would say, I noticed that when I was speaking, you checked your phone multiple times. Just keep it to the facts. That's step 1. Step 2 is your feelings. I feel anxious, I feel lonely, I feel angry. We're not really taught an emotional vocabulary. So often what we say is either, I'm okay, or I'm mad. But feelings can be a lot more nuanced than this. Again, I encourage you not to bake an assumption into your feeling. You don't feel ignored. That's assuming that they're ignoring you. You might feel sad or lonely. The third part of the process is needs. This is the part of NVC that can be really transformational. As I mentioned earlier, we all have certain fundamental needs. Often arguments can get really stuck in the realm of blame. You did this, you're acting this way, you are making me feel this way. But really underneath every emotion is an unmet need. You feel lonely, you need connection. You feel angry, you might need justice. You feel upset, you might need some support. Look at what you observed, look at what feeling came up, and then look at what the unmet need is underneath the feeling.
And the fourth part is a request. This is not a demand, it's a request. A demand is you have to do this thing. A request is if you were to do this thing, it might help my unmet needs. Is that something you'd be willing to do? It gives them a choice. They don't have to do it. We can't force connection. We can't force support. We can't force love. But we can make requests. So putting this all together, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you have a friend who's very flaky on plans and they're not good at communicating. Rather than saying, you're unreliable, you never think about anyone but yourself, you're pissing me off, you're a bad friend, you would say, hey, I noticed that last time we had plans, things changed and I didn't hear from you. When that happened, I felt anxious and sad because I value reliability and communication. Would you be willing to text me next time the plans change? This takes the blame off of them. You're not accusing, you're not saying you're not making any assumptions. You're taking ownership of your own feelings because no one makes you feel this way. Feelings come up. And you can choose what to do with those feelings. When we look in the realm of unmet needs, things soften. We leave room for understanding. And we leave room for the possibility that they didn't intend for these things. Maybe when they didn't communicate the change of plans, they weren't trying to hurt you. However, you can point out that, hey, these feelings came up when this thing happened. The really cool thing about nonviolent communication is it's simple. You can implement it in the next conversation you have. What I love about nonviolent communication is it shows us that peace doesn't have to come from agreement. It can start with understanding. Thank you. Oh.
Yeah. No, I'll abuse my position today and comment on it. In my experience, communication is one biggest thing that makes a difference in people's lives, and they don't even teach it in school.
Oh.
So thank you for that. I think we learned something today as well. So we'll go through the same order. That's to give you feedback. Starting from Kenzii again.
Hello, I'm back. Claire, we did discuss what you were gonna share, so I was really excited to see how you were gonna deliver it. You really blew it out of the park in my standpoint. I love that you gave that example because I think it's an example that pretty much everyone in this room has had someone flake on them sometime in their life. So it was really relatable, and you walked us through a way of getting through that without getting too on our feelings or kind of manipulating the situation. If you think about it, like the opposite of this is kind of manipulation. And so really giving those clear examples was really helpful. One thing I was gonna say is eye contact. I felt like you were looking at me a lot. Maybe I just like was so into me, but like I think you could share the love. That's like what we go. Be a part two, like giving people more tools, how they can navigate, because we're all here to be better communicators, but like also not just to give speeches, but to go out and like communicate with their friends, our brother or sister, whoever it might be. So I think it's really helpful news that you could use, as Steve would say.
Thanks, Kenzii. Ebony?
Yeah, that was great. I love a TED Talk, tiny TED Talk. And I would love to know more information about where I can read more about. I'll Google it, but if you have like a particular link or something for nonviolent communication that makes it easier for me to access that information, I would love that. But I thought it was really great. What my favorite parts were, the one obviously took a lot of notes, but it was all super relatable, super interesting. Everything I second everything Kenzii said. I was like, it almost seemed when you were looking at her, oh, like she was your mom and you were like performing. It's so good, so good. I can't even. There's nothing I can do this.
Thanks, Ebony. James?
Yeah, I did notice that, but I also like had a weird angle there for a second. I was like, oh, I'm on camera, and then you were like, are you just making a face? Or you were looking at this?
No, I was honest.
My bad. Yeah, my bad for this. Yeah, sorry. My bad for disrupting you, but you were tuned into your audience and taking the context as well. I think that says a lot. I love the example in the end to bring it home. I think we all deal with people that are flakes, and I think a lot of us are avoidant and are just like, all right, I'm just not gonna hit them up again. But I think it's a really good way to navigate that and thought you delivered it really compelling. So well done, Claire.
Thanks, James, and yeah, Karen, what do you think?
I loved everything about the speech. I thought that the opening was great. Participation, the content is great. I didn't even notice you not looking at me, so I don't know that. I'm gonna share a link with you. I just put together, so I have this one site. The one thing that can make us go deeper is, Krishnamurti talks about thought and why we react, right? So you can say it's an unmet need, but I think you can go deeper into that. I'll share something with you that may help you expand. Yeah, but that's, I mean, the next step is to just go deeper and deeper into the subject.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. Thank you, Claire. Almost, I'm sorry.
I loved it too. I love that you often include in your speeches really interesting information. Now, and I always say you have to know your audience. You're so good at offering us things that we could use that also help you practice your speaking. So I think that's fabulous. I was going to tell you, I read that book over 30 years ago, and it's still interesting. Like what you said was applied today. So I love that. And again, thanks to you, and it was the same for James. When you end the speech, please take a couple of beats before you say thank you and run off.
Thanks, yeah, so now we have a choice. We don't need to be violent when we communicate. So thank you. Thanks to you. So yeah, now we have
Table topics.
15 minutes left, so we need to move quickly. So this is okay, great. So next on the agenda is
Table topics.
Table topics. Yes, and Kenzii is going to take over. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for our Okay, so what is the situation where you were put in a corner for not being a good friend? Looking for a guilty face here. James is avoiding contact. How about you, James?
Yes.
And I guess I'll be timing you too. So.
So it was, this is, how long ago is this at this point? This is when I was graduating college. This is 2016, so quite some time ago. But I do remember one situation that really made me rethink what my priorities were in friendship. But it was classic. Unfortunately, I went to a college where the social life was a bit separated in terms of some things were exclusive and not available to all students. And I was going to an event like that with a friend who his fraternity like had a separate event. And we were with another friend that day who also wanted to go, but there just weren't really enough seats. And that other friend who was the host didn't want to bring third friend in the picture. And so then essentially he texted me that night, like, hey, what are you guys up to? And just didn't text him back and went to the party. He was like, hey, like, I can't do anything about this. But at some level, like, it just kind of frustrated me a little bit. A, the situation was not a great one, but B, I felt like I kind of left that friend behind. Should have been a better friend and stayed behind and watched a movie with him or something like that. And so that made me rethink. Be there for your friends and just don't be the type of friend that always takes the best offer on the table, regardless of who you made plans with earlier in the night. And I think that's luckily been a lot more how I've operated in the adult world instead of college. So thank you.
So in James' speech, he talked about some nerdy activities of his brother, one being some video games of choice, and also, I don't know, Harry Potter, kind of nerdy, a little bit, kind of. What is the nerdiest activity you participated in as a kid, Ebony? Yes. You're like.
Okay, I don't know if this is just, and thank you for asking the question. I'll start the time with that. But quickly to answer the question, I would say I probably still do the same activity now, but not as often because I get very enwrapped into it. And so like once I open a jigsaw puzzle box, I cannot stop. So I don't do it as often, but that as a child I did it and I would put it together. I think the nerdy part is not just putting it together, but also gluing it onto a cardboard and hanging it up as if it was art. I think that makes it nerdy. I think otherwise, putting it back in the, once you're done with the 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and putting it back in the box and passing it on to someone else or doing like a jigsaw exchange, I think that makes it not nerdy. Definitely putting the dragon that you put together up on the wall as if it was art. That's what made it nerdy, and I don't do that anymore. But I do still do jigsaw puzzles here and there when I have free time. So that would be my answer. I didn't qualify on story.
No, sorry.
Okay, good.
Juggling a lot here with the timing and the table topic. We prevail. Okay, so do you have a secret temper? If not, do you have anyone in your family that has a temper issue? And what is your experience with that? Stas?
That's a good one.
Just when I was trying to project the picture of being a good boy and not having any flaws. I don't have a temper in the classic terms, I guess, that I start shouting when something happens. I think I can close up, which is also a type of temper, I guess, which I think is something that is worse than shouting or communication. So that's something I am aware of and I'm trying to work on instead of removing myself from the situation that needs to be resolved of someone who I think is wrong. I know it's better to burn it off or resolve it some way or the other. So I think that's my temper thing that I have. And in terms of the actual temper, what really drives me crazy when I see people littering, just a normal kind of simple thing. But that is something that I'm ready to take this thing and shove it up, whatever they have. Because I guess yeah, I've been to places in the nature that I've seen ruined by people, and I'm quite sensitive to that. I think that's it.
Thank you. This is something I've been wondering about someone in this room. Doesn't open up about these things, but it is wedding season. Tell me a story in your life that involves love. Your love story or someone else's. Karan.
Personal.
There's one love story.
From a long list.
Is he blushing? Or is he just a little bit?
No, I don't know how to start. I mean, there's many. There's a teenage love. First one, so. I went to an all male, like, boys' school, because I was, but I lived, the German school was in our neighborhood, and that was the mixed school. And all of our friends were like me, they were Persian fathers and German mothers. So first time I was invited to a party, I was 15. And, we go to the party, and this girl who was, part of the community, she just pushes me to the wall and gives me a French kiss, and that's the first time I had a French kiss. Then what happens is that then she ignored me. So, I had a crush on her for a long time. She was a tease, but we were all teenagers, and it's understandable. I hooked up with another girl at the party. She was younger. She was really cute. She was actually cuter, but I was hooked on this one because that was my first real kiss. That's how my love life started.
Well, I'm glad I am. Last but not least. What book were you glued to as a youth? Claire.
What book was I glued to as a youth? I did like Harry Potter, not to be basic. I was a big reader as a kid. I loved to go to the library during recess. I was I wouldn't say I was fully a nerd, but I wasn't not a nerd. Other people would play sports during recess, and for the first few years of elementary school, I'd always go to the library and read a book. And then I was trying to fit in more, so I stopped going to the library and socialized with people. But Harry Potter was a big part of my childhood. I also really loved those audiobooks. If anyone here has listened to the audiobooks, they're done by an actor named Jim Dale. He has an incredible ability to do all sorts of different character voices. Obviously, there are many characters in Harry Potter, and he manages to have a slightly different voice for each one, which is a really cool skill I'd like to bring into Toastmasters, trying out different voices. And then the movies would come out, and I was so excited to turn 10 years old because I thought maybe, just maybe, an owl would come to my house telling me that I was actually a witch. And I would get to go to Hogwarts, or whatever the equivalent of Hogwarts was. I also will say that, what was it? Oh, okay. I'll figure out for another time.
I thought you were gonna say when the movies came out, you thought you were gonna be scouted to be Hermione.
Oh, I would have loved that too, honestly.
That works too, right? Well, thank you guys for having me. I'll welcome up Stas again.
Sure.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay, good.
Troublemaker.
Actually, I want to ask you the same question as Ron, if that's okay. I want to hear about your love life. That's what the people want, right?
Yeah.
So people want.
Well, I want you to know that at 81, I still get invited on a lot of dates.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
But when I was in high school, I didn't even have a date to the prom.
Oh.
I was a cheerleader. I was very involved in everything, but I never had any kind of romance. No one French kissed me until I was 21 or something. But so my love life was I fell in love with someone when I was a sophomore in college. He was a little bit older, like 5 years older. He was already out of college. And he drove a Porsche. He had a sailboat in front of his apartment in the marina. He was way more interesting to me than these guys at UCLA in the fraternity houses. And I just fell madly in love with him, really deeply. I met him at Mammoth. He asked me, I will never forget, I walked in, it was the first and only time this has ever happened to me. I walked into this place where we went to dance at night after skiing. And I saw this guy and said, "Oh, I like him." And then someone came and asked me to dance, and we were dancing, and then afterwards, but I kept looking at this guy, and then afterwards, this guy said, "Would you like to dance again?" And I said, "No, and thank you." And I sat down, and then he came. And I dated him for 3 years and married my first boyfriend.
Wow.
That one.
And she qualified, 111, that's an angel number. Right. Okay, thank you, Stas, come back home.
Lots in already. So is it the end of the, or we have anything else on?
Just do the roles, the reports.
Okay,
Like my
yes,
report.
yes, Ebony is
Okay,
doing the card for today.
it's very hard for me to be premiering because I like to listen. So I get lost sometimes. So bear with me. I believe Shark had no filler words, blah, blah, blah. James had none either, but he did use precipice once, which is nice. Stas, you had a few and so one so. Karan, you had one Kenzii, you were clean. Claire, you had one so, but that was after James interrupted. So transition back into your
Put that one on my.
or you when you yes. And I didn't count my own, but I'm sure I had plenty. But that's the scenario.
And I said,
You did. Oh yes, I have that actually here. Thank you. You did. You did.
Yes, thank you, Ebony. And any.
Yeah. Everybody qualified beautifully, thank you so much, everybody, for being on time.
Yeah, so is at the end of the session now today. Thank you, everyone. It's very insightful as well as educational, as well as improving our skills, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's give it up. Great job.
Yeah, you're the president.
I'm the president.
I thought you were the taking over the group.
I just wanted to tell you that I was at the precipice of a mad reaction when I didn't get a standing ovation for.
The French kiss.
Huh?
you noticed that we didn't give you a standing ovation. You felt angry because you need validation. Would we be willing to give you a standing ovation?
That's perfect.
Non-violent communication. That's all about. Who wants to speak next week? I can have a speech. Anybody else?
I'm always happy to speak of, but I spoke last week, so I'm not sure if I should.
Nobody you said we can do it again.
Yeah.
Give us another speech.
You could give the same.
Or the same speech, exactly, perfected.
Yeah.
Whatever you
I'm
feel
not
like.
say, but I have a lot more to say.
Okay.
Ebony is going to be playing
I
volleyball.
will be playing volleyball next week.
You're gonna
Okay,
do my
please.
speech again. That's-
I have to figure out what I'm gonna do next week, for next final, next week.
Toastmaster?
Volunteer everything, right? Sure,
James, you're gonna be here next week?
Yeah, I'll be here next.
wanna do it?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
happy to.
Table topics?
I'll do that.
Okay.
Unless no one else wants to.
No.
We want you.
You're it. Everything else, are you writing this down? You're gonna give it to
Yeah.
Chris?
Look behind you.
She's, look, she's putting it there. Yeah, cool. On your right.
I know. I can see.
We needed to marry our time, but we could say TBD.
Yeah, we put the TBD for that. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. And see you all next week.
But by the way, this club typically meet over the summer as well.
Yeah. We only have like breaks usually during Christmas.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
All right. Just trying to plan ahead for another summer wedding audition speech. Yeah. Okay, cool.
One thing I just that I noticed that you have this hand gesture, like for the rest of the speech, it was great, but I think this can be a
That's to
little
prevent
bit.
myself from my hands going like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll think
It's
about
like
the
sitting
gesture.
on your
Figure out,
hands,
I mean,
right?
look at some, I like Conan goes like this.
Yeah.
This is a,
Namaste.
oh, yeah, and he's like this,
Oh, we didn't-
forward,
We didn't get a thought of the day or the joke.
I
oh,
told the
Oh,
other
oh,
day.
It was a
No,
very
it's for next week,
mysterious.
next week.
Oh.
Do you wanna give a joke or a thought?
I'm gonna be out of town. I might be able to join remotely. I'll
Okay.
just be on East Coast hours,
Okay.
but. If I do join, I'll take on a role.
Okay.
8:30 at night.
Yeah. We'll see.
we can, I think Chris will be here.
I'm
Just
gonna
let
make him.
him know, yeah.
It's rushed to another event, but right now, so we'll approve.
Sharon, what was the book that you were referencing, Claire?